Fox News alert now, 25 past. There's a new report that shows Obamacare enrollment is declining. It shows 2 million more Americans have dropped out. And now the House, you remember, passed a version of a new bill about 5 weeks ago. The action now is in the Senate. Earlier today, I talked to Republican Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy about all this. Kevin McCarthy, thank you for your time. Good morning.
Well, thanks for having me on today.
We've got a lot to get to here, but on this Russia matter, what is that doing to the progress in the House?
Well, in the House, if you look at what's gone on, we've passed 158 bills. That's the most bills of any first new president coming in since H.W. Bush, even larger than his, and signed into law 37 bills. So yes, there is distraction, but it's not if you take the merits of what's happened here in the House and the number of bills signed. This is the most, all the way back to H.W. Bush.
So you're saying it's not getting in the way?
It's not getting in the way, but some things are happening. If you watched last week while we were passing the Choice Act that actually helps more capital, creates more jobs, community banks. At the same time, they're covering the Comey hearing, and no one's talking about what's happening here in the House. Today, we're going to pass the VA accountability bill. How many people are going to watch that? Actually change the VA. We have a lot of great employees over at the VA caring for our veterans, but we also have some bad ones.
Yeah,
and we're not able to get rid of them.
It's a very important topic, and it's the reason you came on today. Let me get to that in a moment here, but I want to play this for our viewers from yesterday. During this, I guess you'd call it a board meeting, cabinet meeting, where the president said this about your colleagues on the Democratic side.
If we had the greatest bill in the history of the world on health care, we wouldn't get one vote from the Democrats because they're obstructionists. That's what they want to do. That's the game. They think that's their best political game.
And that's been the message from the White House for a week now. Are they obstructionists?
Well, it's not just for a week. Remember, this president, it was the longest time ever to get a cabinet since George Washington. No president has ever had to wait this long. In the Senate, where the Democrats actually run this clock out, they even resisted back in May to having committee hearings in the afternoon. So they are using every stall tactic possible to try to make this president not successful.
But I remind you have the majority.
We do have the majority, and if you look in the House, we've passed more bills than any other time. Going forward, more than 158. He has signed more, twice as many as President Obama in the first 100 days, more so than Bush, more so than Clinton, more so than H.W. Bush. So we have had some success, but in the Senate there are different rules. And unfortunately, those stall tactics, because the Senate has to make confirmations, and there's 1,200 positions that have to be confirmed with a new administration. And what Schumer is doing is stalling it out. What did Schumer do yesterday? He took the time to take his staff and try to mock the president for having a cabinet hearing. Is that really the best use of the minority leader over there? Or can he be working to make sure what we continue to hear of the millions of Americans who are now not going to have health care because the exchanges have collapsed? 94 out of 99 counties in Iowa will not have health care. We just got a new CMS study that shows, 2 million people who signed up for Obamacare are not paying in. Why? Because the premiums have come too high. That's 19 million people have taken the penalty or the waiver, and only 10 million have signed up to Obamacare. This is collapsing upon itself. I think it's time to work together to find common ground and actually have a solution for America.
It's significant what's happening in the Senate. You mentioned the VA. This is very important. You'll put a reform bill before today. What will that do for the veterans who need that help?
Well, this is so critical. This is a bill that we passed in 2015. We passed last Congress. Finally, we got it through the Senate to come back to us. If you look at the history, there are great employees over the VA, but there are some bad apples that harm the entire system. An individual had to go to jail, but was able to take time off and come back to work. An individual was found drunk and actually performed surgery. A psychiatrist was actually working with a veteran but watching inappropriate videos as he was performing the work that he was supposed to do, but none of those individuals could be fired. None of those individuals would survive anywhere in the private sector or anywhere else. This will empower the VA secretary to get rid of the bad apples so the good employees could actually rise to the occasion and make sure we care for our VAs, make sure we care for our veterans. It will also protect whistleblowers so they can actually bring forward those places that are not doing well inside the VA, and we can solve this problem once and for all.
Will the president sign that bill?
The president is tweeting, waiting for this bill to get to him.
Okay.
And so we will move it off the floor of the House today. And you know what? We'll set another record for more bills being signed by a president in this time frame since H.W. Bush.
It's important stuff. Thank you for your time.